welcome to this episode of the CE Tool Den. And on today's video, we're going to have an exciting review because this is one of the most anticipated tools for the Craftsman v20 line. And I have been waiting since last summer to see this in person. This is the brand new Craftsman v20 RP brushless trim router. And we're going to review, test it, and see what it can do. I am so excited for this tool. So let's get to it. Alright, so here is the box for the Craftsman brand new brushless RP trim router. According to the specs, it's from 16,000 to 30,000 no load RPM. It is a tool, it comes in a tool only. As far as I know, there will be no kit available. The great thing is that just means the V20 line is expanding, which is awesome. And it comes with these types of with these accessories. So you have your dust cover with a thumb screw for the dust cover. This is your edge guide, which is the same thing as the DeWalt one, and your wrench for your bits. So this has a lot of the same DNA as your DeWalt one, and I really like this clasp, so you can make your adjustments nice and easy, nice and smooth. There's your dial right there, so you can lower and incrementally micro adjuster for the bit. It comes with this rounded and then squared off, and then here's your on and off button, and then your speed, it goes from 1 to 7, and it's very compact. I really like this. It feels nice. The only thing I wish they would have done is put like rubber overmolding over this, because it is a little slick. It's very smooth, and when you're using a trim router, you don't want this flying off anywhere. Also, it has this nice button for the stop when you're removing the bits. So here it is. You unclasp this, and you can just go up and down nice and easy. And you just take it off, which I like. I like that style. And like I said, here's your micro adjuster. And there's your button to lock the collet, so you can take out the bit or install the bit. And there's where your battery goes. This is going to be a fantastic tool. I got a good feeling, because Stanley Black & Decker really does a good job making these routers. If it's anything, like I said, if it's anything like the DeWalt, this is going to be a winner. All right, so let's take a look at comparisons. I do have the Milwaukee one, and as a comparison, it's a little wider on the top probably because of the battery, but this does have a wider base, and it does have the rubber overmolding, which like I said, I wish the Craftsman had it, because like if you're doing like really like fine type of carving, because some people use this for carving, they'll want to grab it like this. I know there's jigs out there with those handles and stuff. You can get them at Lowe's that Miles Craft makes and others. But some people just go like this that don't have those jigs, and they'll go like this to carve their wood letters or shapes or whatever. And having that rubber overmolding would help. So I'm going to be getting some of that Flex Seal tape and putting it on this. And here is the Rigid Octane trim router. These are actually roughly about the same size. And this one also has a skinny shaft over here, which is really good, but it doesn't have the rubber overmolding. But it doesn't matter. This is, like I said, this is the one I've been waiting for, because this is one of the tool lines that I just love. This one in Milwaukee, and I really like. It does have a really good grip on this side. So when you're doing like basic rounding, roundovers, chamfers, dados, you'll have a good grip from this top part of the router, but not from like if you're trying to carve. So you squeeze that to get back on, and then you just clamp it and it locks on. So now if you're trying to carve like this, your fingers are kind of slippery, so like that's where like that Flex Seal tape would be perfect. And you got to be careful, because like these things are very powerful, and they could just like fly off your piece if you're not careful with them. So when you're doing like carving like this, with the carving bit on a router, like a trim router, I would suggest putting something like a Flex Seal tape around this part, the adjustment, so that way you can get a good grip and then carve. But overall, this is very nice. It feels really good in the hand, especially with these rubber molds up top here. So when you're going to be doing routing, this is going to really, really do the job. I really like the feel of this up here. I'm just going to keep it on speed 7. This is just, I'm amazed. I'm actually amazed that Craftsman finally came out with this. Alright, so we're going to put a bit in and do some testing. Alright, here we have a 1/8 inch round over bit. And here's our micro adjust, so you can see. Works pretty good. We're going to lower this down. We'll do a small round over on this piece of wood, and we're going to get right to it, and then I'll show you, talk about some of the accessories that come with this, and we'll do more routing as we go along. Alrighty, so we're going to get right to it. I got to get a battery. Alrighty, so now here we go. This is 1/8 inch round over bit. First time I'm using it. Let's hear what it sounds like. Turn it on. I got my eyes and ears. Oh, speaking of which, full battery. Here we go. There you go. I put a round over, even though this is already kind of rounded over from the stock thing, from the stock piece of wood, 4x4 that this is. We're going to try a chamfer bit next. It came out okay. These bits aren't the best, but they're a good starting kit. This is the type of bits I'm using currently. I have Freud, Diablo, and white side bits, but I don't want to use those for this video, because I'd rather just use these for testing, and the other ones are going to be for my main woodworking, so I don't want to really waste. So I use these for most basic. You can get this set at Lowe's. It's from the Skill, and they're like I said, they're pretty good, but they're not like the greatest. So we're going to try a chamfering bit next and see how good of a result we get chamfering this piece of wood. Alright, we have now a chamfering bit, and we're just going to go a little bit low with there. So we're going to use the micro adjustment, and we can go there. These have bearings, so let's try this one out. So we got a good chamfer over here. This bit is definitely a lot sharper, because I've used that round over a little bit, so it's not as sharp as it used to be. But this is a nice chamfer. Straight 45-degree chamfer. So it did the job. a little burning, but again, that's the bit, not the router. It feels very powerful, and it's so smooth. I actually think it's a lot smoother than the rigid. The Milwaukee's probably got a little bit more power. I want to say the Milwaukee's got more power overall, but it's got a little bit more. It's got more vibration. This one seems to have a lot less vibration. I've never used a DeWalt, and I know a lot of people swear by the DeWalt. I gotta say, this feels so nice. Just doing that chamfer, it felt like there was hardly any vibration. It's smooth, very smooth, right on the wood. Like I said, the Milwaukee has more vibration because it's got a little bit more power in the motor, and it's gonna vibrate a little bit more. It definitely feels strong. This one definitely feels stronger than the Rigid Octane. The Rigid Octane was my first trim router I ever had, and it's been rock solid. But I gotta say, this is definitely an upgrade over the Rigid, as far as, first of all, how much power and smoothness it has. I feel it has a. I like this one and the Rigid for that I can get a good grip on the shaft area, where the Milwaukee is a little bit thicker and I got smaller hands. So this is definitely a lot better for me than the Milwaukee. These three have its advantages and disadvantages. I'm not a big fan of like the Rigid battery platform. I love this battery platform. This V20 has just been really great because I like how the batteries are more compact than a lot of other battery platforms. Milwaukee tends to have a bigger battery. The Rigid, huge battery. The DeWalt and Craftsman really have a great battery platform when it comes to the size of their batteries. Like they really squeeze a lot into these batteries, and their form factor is a lot smaller than the competition. So this is really nice router. So now we're going to try the edge guide. I'm going to show you guys the edge guide and the dust port. So for the dust port, see the way this is shaped. So you can only go one way. The way this is shaped goes like this, and on the side is, on the metal part, on the tool itself, you put the thumb screw in the threads. Okay, here is the thumb screw in all the way in, right on the dust port. So it only screws from that one area. You got to be careful because this is a little bit loosey-goosey on this side. Show you that. It moves. It'd be nice if they would have had some kind of system where it locks in. But otherwise, this is in. And that's what it looks like with the dust port. It does, like I said, it has a little gap over here. So we might have some extra dust coming out, flying out. But with the suction of the vacuum, most of the dust should go into the vacuum. Also, when it comes to the edge guide, you have to remove these two screws. These are this is where you store the screws for the edge guide to screw into the router. So these have to be removed prior to using this edge guide. Alright, I removed the two screws with the number 2 Phillips screwdriver. And so this is where the screws were, and this is where you're going to use those screws on the router itself. So right now we have no battery, but on the side where the speed selector is a little slot right there, and that is where the edge guide goes. So this part of the edge guide goes in this slot right there. Like so. And then the screws go into those holes respectively. Alright, I put a 3/8 inch straight guide, and we're gonna do a dado on this piece of wood, and we're gonna see how it works. Like I said, this is the same type of edge guide that they use on the Walt. So we'll do a dado. When you're using any type of bit like this, when you're making dados, you want to always start shallow because you don't want to tax the motors, and you can mess up your cuts too because the router will jump. This goes with all routers. I feel like they all have that problem. Is with these trim routers is you always start shallow. So I can always go from here and just make my way with shallow passes to go, depending on how deep your dado has to be. I start off very shallow, so that way the router doesn't walk out on me. So, oh, and this is what it looks like with the edge guide on. Okay, we're gonna insert the battery again. Just be careful with this, and like I said, this is just like the Walt. Let's get this right there so we can show you. All right, so the edge guide is gonna go like this. All right, let's get going. That is a very, very nice dado cut. Really did a good job, and it's nice and smooth. Wow. Well, this I've used this blade only like one other time, so it helps to have a nice sharp blade. So this is practically a new blade on this, so that helps. But it was nice and smooth. The edge guide did its trick. The edge guide also has these markings for measurements. The only thing it doesn't have is the numerical numbers for measurements. It's got inches and millimeters, but without the numbers, you're gonna have to guess. That's 0, that's 1, 2 inches, and so forth. You're gonna have to figure out your metric. So it is what it is. But that's what it was like with the dust port cover on and the edge guide. Overall, I really love this router. It really was very smooth when I did the chamfer and the dado. And this is a very nice dado cut. It's nice and straight. And this edge guide really does the trick. So I am so excited about this tool. I am definitely saying this is a must. If you are on the v20 platform or are thinking of getting on the platform, I would suggest getting this router. It really kicks butt. It's definitely a great, excellent router. It did its job. I'm very, very happy I purchased it, and excited to see what else is next for the Craftsman platform. This so far this year's release has just been great. I mean, we've been surprised. This is going to be on $99 at Lowe's, so even the price is excellent if you're already on the platform. I recommend a 4 amp hour battery with this, but you can get away with the 2. Even a 6 amp hour battery. But I gotta say, these 4 amp hour batteries are pretty much the sweet spot for a lot of the Craftsman V20 tools. That's why they recommend them a lot. And it is such a smooth, if knowing how this feels, I can imagine that DeWalt, now I know why people love the DeWalt router. And like I said, this has the same DNA. It doesn't have a plunge base or any types of bases, but I'm gonna guess if it shares the DNA of the DeWalt, I wonder if their plunge base would work on this, for their trim router. I don't know. I'm only taking a guess here. So I give this 100% 2 thumbs up. I'm very impressed by how great of a tool this is. I mean, we did a good job with this dado cut, the chamfer, and the round over. There's nothing else I can say about it. It's just an excellent tool. And I'm happy now. It gives you, us carpenters and woodworkers that love to do woodworking, just a great option for the V20 line. Thank you, Craftsman SBD, for bringing us another outstanding tool. If you like this video, like, subscribe, share the video. And as always, have yourself a good night. Ring the bell for notifications if you like it. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. I'll try to answer them as best as I can. Thank you.